I'm Jonathan Knight, and this is B-Movie Madness. And the movie I'm going to talk about tonight, well, the one I'm going to talk about tonight is the brand new release from SOV Horror. And it is the one, the only, the legendary, The Slasher. Now, as usual, I'll have a better look at the cover on screen. The artwork was done by Irfan Jones, who I've talked about in the past. I believe he did the artwork for the last SOV horror movie I reviewed, which was A Face Full of Bullets. And as usual, he does amazing work. This actually might be my favorite artwork he's done for SOV horror. It's really, really cool. I like the use of pink and the white and the big-breasted girl down there. That always helps. But yeah, this is really good artwork. Now, before I get onto my review, what is The Slasher about? Well, it's about New York is under attack by a deranged masked madman who likes to slaughter beautiful young women. When one of the slasher's would-be victims escapes from his evil clutch, he becomes obsessed with hunting her down and finishing the job. It's now up to a pair of hard-boiled cops to protect her and bring an end to the slasher's reign of terror. Now, I really didn't know much about this movie before going into it. All I knew was what I could find online and from what, I saw in the trailer that Tony put out. So I really didn't know much about this movie. All I knew it was a shot-on-video movie and it was a slasher movie. And I love both of those things. So when you put them together, that's what I call one hell of a sandwich. So when I first started the movie, it starts off with a killer stalking his victim. He chases this girl out in the woods and he kills her. And the kill was off screen. So I was like, oh man, fuck. I was really hoping for some good old-fashioned cheap SOV style gore. And I didn't get it with the first kill. But as the movie went on and on, I realized something. Although this movie isn't really that gory, it does have something I was not expecting, and that is a very, very well-written and engaging storyline. I was just shocked. I was like, oh my god. It kind of reminded me of a mix of the movie 555, which is an SOV movie, and a direct-to-video movie called City and Panic. It reminded me of a mix of those two movies, and although it's not as insane and graphic as those two movies, it's better written than those two movies, and I couldn't believe that. Not only was I engaged in the storyline, I actually was upset when some characters were killed. I was like, damn, I like that character, and I couldn't believe that I was so invested in this movie. And it just shows you how great of a job Jim Haggerty, the writer and director, and the producer, and he's also one of the main actors. What a good job he did with this movie. That although the movie was made, get this, it was made for $200. I'm not lying, that was the budget. And I gotta tell you right now, for that budget, they did an amazing job. If you gave me $200, I would not have been able to make a movie anywhere near as good as this. It would have just been me in my room sitting around talking to nobody. But he took that $200 and he spent it really well. And he's a very good writer and a very good director. Now, as for the acting, the two lead actors are Jay Mosk and Jim Haggerty. They played the two cops of the movie. They're not great. Their acting is uneven. There's a lot of dubbed-in dialogue that was done later, and it is what it is. It's very awkward and uneven, but you can tell that they were really trying, and that matters to me. And they were really, really trying, and they weren't terrible to the point where I was like, oh my god, I can't watch this anymore. But the dubbing was necessary. They had to do that later on because of sound problems and all that. But it is what it is. But there are two really, really good actors in this movie. The first one is Maria Balearis, who plays a prostitute that the two cops go to get information about the killer. She did an amazing job. She has a shit ton of dialogue to say, and she does a top-notch job. The scene goes on for, I think, almost 10 minutes, and I was completely engaged because of her performance. And she's only in that one scene, technically. Only in that one scene, and she just blew me away. So, wow, man. That's what I love about, these low-budget movies. They can be really, really sneaky with these good actors. They'll slip them in, and you'll be like, oh my god, blew me away. Now, the second actor that blew me away was Norman Pasternak, who plays the killer in the movie. Now, for the first hour of the movie, he doesn't have any dialogue. He's wearing that mask, the transparent mask with paint on it. Very creepy. Those masks are always been creepy to me. But when it gets to about an hour in the movie and we discover who the killer is, he has a lot more dialogue. And he is extremely creepy in this movie. And he was smart with his performance. He didn't go too over the top with it, where it would have went from scary to campy. And I'm glad he didn't go that direction because it would have completely deflated the tension in the movie. But yeah, he was actually really scary, and he had a lot of dialogue to say as well. Especially a scene towards the um, third act, or like the end of the second act. He has a lot of dialogue. He did a really good job. Now you're probably wondering, is there any gore and the boobs and all that? Now, as for the gore, there is a little bit of blood in this movie. They only had a $200 budget, so they really didn't have much money to spend on special effects. But the movie still has plenty of blood. There is a couple of bloody stabbings. There's some slit throats. There is one really good kill in this movie. Like all the kills were really well done for their budget. You got plenty of blood, but the best kill of the movie, and it's one I'm not gonna spoil, but it happens towards the end of the movie, and that one has a little bit more special effects work, and they're not really quite special effects. If you listen to commentary, you'll see, one of them is not a special effect. One's a sex toy. But and one is a special effect. But it's a really well done kill, very very satisfying, and I don't want to spoil it, so I won't say what exactly happens, but you can kind of get an idea from what I was talking about. But as for the boobs, oh lordy, this movie really delivers with the boobs. There's boobs throughout it, but there's some boobs in particular that outshine the rest. There's an actress in this movie called Spike. That's the name of the actress. And she has a scene where she's completely naked with a hair dryer, just drying her hair, and the scene goes on forever. But I tell you this, I never got bored of that scene. I've actually watched that scene 3 times now, mainly because I had to review the movie and rewatch it and all that. But that scene could have went on the whole movie, and you wouldn't have one complaint from me. She is absolutely gorgeous. Probably some of the best boobs I've seen in a shot on video movie. Probably some of the best boobs. And this might be exaggeration, but best boobs I've seen in a horror movie in general, in a slasher movie in general. But my God, whew, she was great. Now, if you were to take that scene out, the movie still would have been great. That scene is like the cherry on the sundae. So I appreciate it, Jim Haggerty, for using all the footage that you could. I know you'd probably change it now. I understand why you would, but I'm glad you didn't, because I'm grateful for it. So damn good. Now, last but not least is the music of the movie, done by Joe Randazzo, who did the music of the movie. The music was actually pretty well done. The main theme of the movie is actually very creepy, kind of mysterious and creepy. Very well done. It kind of reminded me of music from like video violence, shot on video, stuff like that. Excuse me. But it was really well done. There's also an end credit song by a band called Tang. The song is called 5. Really great song. I have no idea if it's on YouTube or not, but I'm going to look it up in a minute. But yeah, the music and the song is really great. So overall, was the slasher, was the slasher worth my time? Hell fucking yeah, it was worth my time. It had a great, engaging story, some good acting, some uneven acting, but there was some really good acting in here. Bloody enough for me, kills, great boobs, and a great score. So overall, if you are a fan of shot-on-video movies and slasher movies, this one comes highly, highly, highly recommended for me. As for casual watchers, recommend it with caution probably. Shot-on-video is not for everybody, but, go ahead, give it a try. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'll definitely be already watching this in October. Every October I do a horror marathon called Schlocktober, which I watch schlocky B movies throughout the entire month, and I will be adding the slasher to my horror watching list. I know I've moved my hands a lot, but I'm really excited. But yeah, definitely highly recommend for me. Now, as for the extras, you got a audio commentary track with director Jim Haggerty and Norman Pasternak, who plays the slasher of the movie. Really good commentary track. There's very few silent gaps, like very few. It's them kind of talking about how they made the movie, how they feel about the movie now, what they would take out, what they would change, laughing at the various things in the movie, just having an overall good time rewatching a movie that they made like 22 years ago, which is amazing because this came out in 2000, so that was, can't believe that was 22 years ago. Shit. There's also a video interview with director Jim Haggerty. Um, it's just simple. It's like a 20-minute version of the commentary track. There is things that he says in it that are not on the audio commentary, especially regarding, I believe, the theatrical premiere of it. Very interesting stuff. If you're not a commentary fan, I do recommend watching the video interview instead, but I think they're both worth your time. There's also 2 trailers for the slasher. There is the SOV horror trailer vault, which is on every release. You get trailers for like Misty Darkness and a couple other movies. And there's also the alternate artwork, which is this. If you get a good view of that, pretty cool art. It's pretty good art, but here's the disc as well if you can see it. It's pretty good art, but I think Irfan's art is the best. It's really, really good. This is something if I seen as a kid in the video store, I've been like, hell yeah. And now that's the big breasted chick right there that gets, hair dried. But he put a towel on her because, Facebook and all that. I wish I could show pictures, but YouTube and their hatred of boobs. But overall, yeah. If you have you watched this movie? I think it was in some movie packs, but I'm not quite sure because I have a movie pack, but the movie that's called The Slasher is not this. It's a different version of Blood Cult, which I didn't know about. But have you seen this movie? What is your favorite shot-on-video slasher movie? There's plenty out there, but which one's your favorite? Shit, I don't know if I would call it a slasher movie. Maybe 555. That one has some really good kills in it. Our video violence is not really a slasher movie, but it's killing in it. So I'll go with video violence regardless. But yeah, if you like my channel, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and let me know down below what your favorite SOV slasher is. But I have another SOV horror release I'll be reviewing next week, and then I will be finally doing Little Corey Gory, because I got it in the mail last week. So that's it for now. I'm Jonathan Knight. It's been B Movie Madness. Thanks for watching.